6 o'clock, isn't it? At that clock.
6:00,
Let's
yeah.
see for the reflection. I'd like to welcome you to our city council meeting here this evening, Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. For the record, all city council members are present this night, as are members of the staff. We've got a lot of the public. We've got a lot of our law enforcement folks with us tonight. We have people here that looking to build and get approval for a new business, which we're excited for, but we're excited to have all of you here this evening. I would remind you, if you didn't sign in, would you sign that roster just outside the door when you leave? We do have to keep a record of everyone that attends the meeting, so that'll help our city recorder if you could do that. So I've asked Chief Brinkman if he would lead us in the pledge this evening.
Please rise and repeat the pledge after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we would like to take a moment of silence. As we take a moment of silence this evening, we would like to remember those that protect our way of life here, that we live here in our communities, and also the great nation that we live in. We like you to remember our first responders and the important part they play in keeping our cities safe and in order, law and order. And we'd like you to remember our military people that are serving around the world. We'd also ask you during the moment of silence if you would remember our city council as they make decisions tonight, that the decisions they make might be in the best interest of the community that we serve. We'll now take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. We'll now move on next, excuse me, for our period for public comment. This is a period of time where the public or anyone can come forward to the microphone, state your name, state your address, and present to the city council any ideas or thoughts you might have regarding the city. And the time is now yours for public comment.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Schaefer. I live at 619 West, 4050 South here in Riverdale, and I've been a Riverdale resident for 15 plus years. Mr. Mayor and council members, I come before you today in regards to the 40 plus acres that has been designated as a new park just a little south of us currently. I understand that some of it has been proposed for use as soccer fields, which I am in support of. But I also want to propose that we put in a new baseball, softball complex in this park. So I've coached rec and comp baseball for years. I've held practice at almost every field here in Riverdale and played a game or two at almost every field here in Riverdale. I can tell you that they are not up to the quality of field that you see most comp teams, rec teams, tournaments, those types of games that are played on. There are a few safety issues. I want to see a facility built that residents and the children that play on these fields can be proud of. And if you ask anyone that plays baseball or softball around here, they know that Riverdale is not the place to go. You go to the Terrace, you go to Ogden, Clinton, or Syracuse. The facility I see would take 4 to 5 acres of the land proposed and could offer use for baseball, softball, rec games, comp games, tournaments, and leagues, which would generate more than enough money to take care of the facility. It would bring in more money for the local restaurants and stores. And if we do it right, I could see another hotel going up in Riverdale or in the close area. It would also provide more employment in Riverdale, and all of this generates more taxes that can help residents get their costs down. We could even get the local high schools to come play games on the fields. I know that the Bonneville baseball coach and softball coach would be in favor of this. I bring this up now because I see a lot of potential for this park for Riverdale. I want Riverdale City to be proactive in making this happen and not reactive to businesses and developers that will come in and dictate roads, parking lots, trails, etc. I also do not want this to be dragged out over years. I understand there are lots of decisions that still have to be made and some things that have to fall into place. I work in construction, and I understand the inner workings on developments like this. However, I also know that you are doing what you currently can to make the best decisions for Riverdale City and its residents. I am passionate about this happening. I love baseball, and I can see that a park like the one you are thinking about can have a lifetime effect on those that get to use them. I still remember the parks that I played on when I was young. I want to be a voice that helps in any way I can to forward this and make this a reality for the youth of Riverdale, and some of us old guys as well. Just like in the movie Field of Dreams, James Earl Jones says, "If you build it, they will come." I know this will happen, and children's dreams of playing baseball and softball will come true. Anything going forward I can do to help, I will try my best. I can tell you that I am not the only resident that feels this way. I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Appreciate that. Seeing no others, we'll close the public comment period. We'll now move on to presentations and reports. We'll go to the city administration report. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. And since you didn't do it for yourself, it's good to see you back. We've missed you. It's been a long 3 months, and we've all struggled with our ups and downs, as we know you have as well. So it's good to see you back for your last meeting there, Mr. Mayor. As far as department reports go, that's all in your packet. Not a lot I would draw to your attention, other than Cody does have a chart in there, a graph on the sales tax. I think it was about the third page in there. He's got some bar charts and stuff in there. It shows that sales taxes are really strong, and if it continues at this rate after Christmas, we'll find out here in February, we should have a really good year in that regard. Do you have any questions on any of the department heads' reports or anything before I move on that? Yeah.
I had one. Was Mr. Eggett gone for an extended period this last month or two at some point? There were several meetings that said he sent someone to, and I think he usually attends those, or I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it would have been, Braid.
There was like 4 different meetings that said that he sent a representative, and I think they're meetings he usually goes to, but I was just curious.
I don't know. All I know is we're having a meeting tonight at his request, and he's not here. So first chance we have to fire him, I'm going to suggest that. That's by tradition, we do not hold this meeting. But
Have a motion and a second.
There you go. The department heads have already made their points really clear. We beat him up one day. That's probably why he's not here tonight. So I'll move on then. As far as employee recognition, there were 3 people listed in there. Chris Stone, sitting at 29 years. Chris, he's kind of our catch-all, does a little bit of everything, and we've kept him pretty busy lately with the veterans program and things to help cover some of the mayor's things that he generally does. So Chris has been really good to fill in for us. Joey Clark, I don't think Joey's here. Pretty much everybody is but Joey. So Joey's sitting at 17 years. Again, one of our finest, and we're glad to have Joey on board, and we hope to be able to keep him for a long time. And Matt Hennessy with Fire Department, sitting at 16 years. So congratulations to all them. As far as our full-time employees, we are still understaffed and continue to operate as we have been. And I know we don't know what the future holds, and it's going to be some challenging times, but our department heads and our departments just do a fantastic job in doing what we need them to do, and they're all shorthanded. So we thank all them, and certainly the police department. I can't even blow my horn enough for these guys. So And last but not least, well, there's Mike's not here to give the community development report. We don't have a lot of things other than our Raising Cane's is still planning on opening January 11th, I believe. We were grateful that actually got postponed. That would have been this past week. And they weren't ready because of some of the construction delays, and we were breathing a sigh of relief with the additional Christmas traffic that we have anyway, and throw that out on Riverdale Road. It's going to be a nightmare no matter what. Just the logistics of it is going to be tough, but we think we've got a plan in place that'll cause the least amount of damage that we can, but it's still going to be tough. So you'll probably get some phone calls and some complaints about it, but there's nowhere to put them other than where we've got it designed. So we'll see how that goes, but that'll be in early January, so it'll be good to get them open. And last but not least, on the presentations and reports, we have a special recognition there. Now, those of you who know Casey, and I think we all know Casey and love Casey, but he's certainly the guy that will pull the joke on anybody. And he contacted me last week and said, we want to do a recognition for our chief. And I said, no problem. I can get it on the agenda, keep it so nobody will even know, because I knew Scott would see the agenda. So I had to write it up so he wouldn't even be suspicious of this whole thing. Well, apparently Casey sent out an email to everybody today and included Scott on the email. So it didn't do us a lot of good to go to all this work, but I had to rib him a little bit there just because Casey would take full advantage of it when the tables were turned. So I will turn the time over to Casey and he can handle it from here. So.
All right, you're 100% right on that one. All right, so first off, we're here to recognize a great man, Chief Brinkman. I want to start off with the city. I believe we work for the greatest city here at Riverdale Police Department. I brag to you guys all the time. I brag to Steve. I brag to everybody how great Riverdale is and how privileged we are to work here. With that being said, we have a great PD. When you work for a great city, you're able to recruit the best guys and retain the best guys. And we wouldn't be able to do that without great leadership. It all starts, with the organization. There's people, and it starts with leadership, with Chief Brinkman. Chief Brinkman has spent 23 years here at the police department and has been the chief of police since 2016. And, you don't just build these organizations over time. It started back when he was a detective. Then he was a sergeant. Then he was a lieutenant. And most recently, like I said, is the chief of police. I'm going to kind of focus on that area. When Chief Brinkman brings in new officers, he holds each one of us to the highest code of conduct. Our morals, ethics, he won't trade that for anything. You can be the sharpest cop in the world, but if you don't have morals and ethics, you don't have a chance here. One of the first things that he says to the officers when he brings them in with their spouses is how important that is to him. And it's the way he lives his life every single day. And when you have leadership with the bar that high, it follows. If you have leadership that doesn't have the bar that high, then you find those problems that you hear about in the news. And this has been instilled in me, through Chief Brinkman since he was a sergeant and I was just an officer. He's a great partner with the community. Well, first of all, let me tell you what he's being recognized for. This is the Career Achievement Award. It's very few guys are recognized with this award, and he's being recognized by his department. There's a lot of prestigious awards as a cop that are out there, but I can't think of any that are more honorable than this one. So back to what I was saying is he has the highest of conduct as far as his morals and ethics. When it comes to partnering with the community, I think you've all been part of one of the community policing block parties that we've had hamburgers and hot dogs. Chief Brinkman's attended countless of those, and he's responsible for probably thousands and thousands of hot dogs and hamburgers being cooked for kids and different people, and that goes a long way in the community. He's active in every aspect of the job. Sometimes you think of a chief of police and you think, well, he's just maybe crunching numbers and policies and sitting at his desk. Not Chief Brinkman. If there's a hot call on the radio, if there's something going on, he's the first one there. Just to kind of highlight some of the different things he's been involved with over the time, was in 2017 we had a guy call in. Actually, the fire department called in, and someone was actively shooting at Riverdale Park. over by the elementary school. So, we all go there, lights and sirens, and lo and behold, Chief Brinkman finds the suspect fleeing on foot, kind of near the mayor's house. He called out his location. We were able to get officers in the right place and get him in custody. The guy was armed with an AR-15 and was firing off rounds. But this is the kind of stuff that Chief Brinkman does. If he expects his guys to run towards gunfire, he's going to do the same. Most recently with the riots, we sent a lot of officers down to the riots. When Chief Brinkman came in, was here, handling calls, making sure, the city was being taken care of. His guys are being taken care of. There's a lot of things that's happened in policing over the last little bit, here, especially here in Riverdale. When I first started in Riverdale, this is a great town, a great city to live and to work. I still believe it is, but with time, as in any community, no matter where you live, there's been a lot of challenges for law enforcement. And I think it's safe to say that Chief Brinkman's faced more challenges as the chief of police than all the chiefs combined before him here in Riverdale. We've had murders. We've had countless attempted murders. We've had protests. We've had officer-involved shootings. We've had COVID-19, a tornado, and then widespread shortage of police officers. And I will tell you, without the leadership of Chief Brinkman, I want to say we're about in 1,000 in all these areas because of his leadership. And as far as the guys go, you can see they're here to support him. I got a dozen other phone calls of people that couldn't make it tonight that wanted to be here. But he puts the guys first. He goes home, and a lot of people go home and turn the clock off and the phone off, maybe go to sleep. I know there's nights where he doesn't sleep because he's worried about something that's going on in the city. He's worried about one of his officers. He's just there 24/7, 365 days a year. And, through his leadership, he's built a culture here in Riverdale, along with you guys, where we can retain and recruit the best people in the state. It's tough finding good officers, but we have the best. And I think we have the best because we have great leadership. And like I said, it starts with Chief Brinkman. So I didn't feel it was right. We gave him this award already at our awards banquet, but I felt it was necessary to show gratitude for his great leadership and appreciate him for you guys. And so, anyways, I just ask everybody, stand up, give him a hand. Oh, I will say one thing. Meryl Searle has nominated Chief Brinkman a few times. It's really tough to get some of these recognitions, but he's wanted Chief Brinkman to be recognized for the great job that he's done, not just here at the local level, but on a state level as well. And so he just does a great job. Like I said, I kind of messed up the surprise for him, but that's all right. He's had to worry about this now for a few days. So here's the medal he got. And like I says, we just want to thank him and show our gratitude for the great work he's done. And then a little certificate right there. And then want to thank his family too, because we know that there's a lot of times he's probably cussed my name or any one of these guys' names at home, or has, had to come in on Christmas or birthdays or you name it over a long career. So, we owe his family a lot of gratitude as well. And I'm working on number 2. I told him he can earn 2 of these medals. He can just keep going. He's still young, so anyways.
Real quick, thank you. I'm way embarrassed by this. I do not like this type of attention, and these guys all know I'm not a believer in administrators getting awards, but I also want them to know that I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate the support that they give to me every day. I tell them all the time, they probably get tired of hearing me say it, but we have, not only do they do great work as police officers, but they are all great people. They're just good, solid people that have high morals and ethics. And to me, that's the most important thing that we can have as officers in our city. They don't have to be the top arrest guy or the top ticket writer. I'll take the high
the character and the morals and ethics any day. And they all have that. And I appreciate every one of them so much, and they make my job easy. I'm nothing. They're the ones that do all the work every day. And I am constantly hearing, just today, had a citizen tell me about a kind gesture that one of our officers did for him. It goes on all the time. So we're really fortunate to have the group of officers that we have here. And I want to thank my family for all the years, 26 plus years. My wife never complains about the late night phone calls, or if I have to leave. She's always been rock solid for me, and I appreciate her so much, and my children. I know last year was difficult. She had to work on Christmas, and we had our horrific event on Christmas, and told the kids, well, have a good day, kids. You won't have any parents today. But that was kind of a tough one, but I really appreciate them and everything they do for me in my life. And Mayor, I am so thrilled to have you here tonight. It's been rough not having you here. And I just want you to know how much respect I have for you and the leadership that you've given to the city and to the police department. You have been just a huge supporter of law enforcement. There hasn't been a mayor that has given more support for law enforcement than Norm Searle. And it has been an absolute pleasure to work for you and have your leadership and your guidance. And it's greatly impacted my life and my job here. So thank you very much. We've been fortunate to have you here. So appreciate it.
I would echo those, or just repeat the same things. I appreciate what they do. The only thing I would say here, and I direct this to Scott's wife, is don't let him retire. We're still buying more time. So
I'm starting to feel like this is my funeral. I'm like, is there some plan?
I actually went over there just recently. We did that remodel over there, and it hadn't sunk into my head. I just went over there because I always do, and I go in Scott's office and we just shoot the breeze. But I walk in his office and everything's off his walls. His desk is cleared and everything. And I just looked at him and said, "You're not leaving. You are not leaving." I literally had a heart attack. I thought he was going. But thank goodness it was just for the painting of the walls. But we love him. We love the guys. I mean, I'm looking at 30 years in my legal career, and almost all of those were working with police and sheriffs, and I haven't found a better group than what we have here. So good men and women, and we really appreciate what they do, and we appreciate the council for backing them and supporting them. You really have some good people here. So thank you, all of you.
Council have anything? Thoughts?
Can I give a shout out to the guys who came and played chess the other day at school?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate Chief Brinkman and Casey for all you've done to make sure that this recognition took place. I know Casey's really been on this to try to make sure you were recognized as you should be, and there's been some things done in the past 2 or 3 years that we've made efforts, and like you said, the state awards are hard to come by, and but we have made the effort because you're very, very deserving, and you're just everything that was said about you tonight, being a role model, and I can't think of anybody that could be better in that position than you are. So congratulations to you. It's been a pleasure to work with you. And when I come in tonight, I said we got the best of the best here tonight, and I really believe that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are the best, and we've recruited the best, and it's because of Chief Brinkman and others, and the type people that are here, the work ethic, and watch the Jazz play quite often, and they play well together because they like each other, and I see that in our department. I hear it from I read all the pass-ons. I think you know that, all of them that are sent to me, and the little things you do for people, the rides, changing tires and unlocking car doors, and that's really, really above and beyond. And I think that kind of filters down from the top for hiring the kind of people that are that way. I know he's very careful when he brings in a new hire to try to get the very, very best that he can, and it's shown in the quality of the police department that we have here. So we do appreciate you, Chief, and we appreciate every one of you here and your families, and you're great. So thank you very much. Okay, move on next to the consent items, the minutes. Consideration approve the meeting minutes from December 7th. Merry Christmas to all of you, okay? Have a really nice Christmas with your families. Consideration approve the meeting minutes from December 7th, 2021, the council work session. Also, the December 7th, 2021, the council meeting. Do we have any changes or corrections to the minutes?
Just the one that was mentioned upstairs.
Motion to approve the consent items with the one change we mentioned upstairs.
Second?
We got a motion, we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's passed, it's unanimous. Okay, we're gonna move on next. I thought you left, Steve. I'm glad to see you sitting there. I thought you went outside with the rest of them. Consideration of the final site plan approval of the proposed Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, property located approximately 4171 South Riverdale Road, Riverdale, Utah, is requested by Riverdale Center North, LLC Cheddars, and AWA Engineering Group. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just accumulation of many weeks of battles between our staff and their staff. We have a representative from Cheddar's here tonight. I think we've got a really good product. It's been a while. We've had to beat it up, but I think we're all happy with it, and we're looking forward to have them on board. I don't know if you guys have any questions for it. This is the final step, and we're ready to roll at this point once you approve this. And if you have questions, we could certainly address those, but I would recommend that you guys pass this as their final site plan so they can get going on it, and we can get Cheddar's here as soon as possible. I believe we're the first one in Utah, are we not?
It is, yeah.
So
Wow.
this is a feather in our cap for Riverdale City, and should be some good food and another place for us to eat. So you have any questions in regards to it?
Go ahead, Councilor Ellis.
Just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your restaurant and what food they serve and what your...
Yeah, my name's Jake Tate with Anderson Wallen Associates, 2010 North Redwood Road, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm on the engineering side of things, so as far as Cheddar's goes, it's more of an American-style restaurant, but it is owned and operated by the same company, Darden, who owns Olive Garden and a few other those large restaurants. So it's a little more common in the South Central United States, but as mentioned, this will be the first one in the United States, but it does serve American-type home-style food. So.
Okay.
Any others? Councilor Arnold.
I'd move to approve the final site plan as stated within the packet.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous in favor. Thank
Welcome
you.
to Riverdale. Thank you. Yeah, glad to
Yeah,
have
we're
you.
looking
Going.
forward to it.
You
Thanks.
dug a hole yet?
Not yet. No, we're just
Better
signing
not.
paperwork now, and we'll be getting going probably first of the year. So.
Thanks for being here.
Fences up though.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep. Okay, moving along, do we have any comments from city council before we adjourn?
I had one quick one.
Go ahead.
I had the opportunity to jump in with one of the snowplow drivers this Wednesday.
You look
And,
good in that suit.
That was an interesting ride. It was garbage day, and there was cars all over the road. And Norm Farrell took me around, and we were in my neighborhood mostly, so most of the people were a little bit nervous about giving me the bird or giving me too much flack. But there were still some people that didn't recognize me quick enough and were giving me the hands out, like, "What are you doing?" It's an intense job. Like, Norm made it look pretty effortless with the plow, straight and dropping salt. And but it's winding through the cars and the narrow roads, and he did a great job, and he was just professional as could be. And after we had a couple of residents that weren't very happy, he said he just kind of keeps his eyes straight forward and tries not to, because they're standing on the curb, and you go by about 3 times, and you get closer every time, and the last pass is right there face to face. And anyway, it was a great experience. I learned a lot about different things. I mean, the mirrors on those trucks are about $500, and when the trees hang over the road, they hit the mirrors. And I mean, he almost broke one, like not on purpose, but it was, I mean, those branches, there's a reason that we don't let them hang over the road, I found out. Just one last quick thing. I was writing the mayor's message for next month, and I had a little section about the snowplow ride. And I got so much negative feedback from everybody I ran into. I'm like, I'm not touching the snowplow thing in the mayor's message. We're just scratch that right out of there. We're just going to talk about something different. So, because I mean, one of my neighbors brought me a bag of candy and said, "Hey, and by the way, I want to talk to you about the snowplows." I was like, "That's the last one." After about 10 others. So, anyway, it's funny.
It's the third rail of politics.
Yeah.
Being the mayor.
Yeah. Good. Anything else? Anything from the staff?
Mayor, I'd just quickly say, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but we lost our main well this week. And I know for 2 days, Sean and Norm were full-time scrambling on that thing. And when I checked in this morning, everything's up and going. And it was mainly just due to those two. They were out there thawing pipes out and everything. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess, so to speak, when that one goes down, because that's our big one. So, but kudos to them. They did a phenomenal job. They didn't stop. They went nonstop and got it up and going. So, when we talk about public works, just like our police department, we have some of the best of the best. And they were taking bets on how many times you smacked your head in that truck as they went back and forth on that snowplow. So I was over there that day, and they were getting a chuckle out of it. But kudos to them. I wish Sean was here because I'd like to recognize him for that. But that was kind of a big move on his part to get that back up and running as fast as they could without very much expense either. It was just a lot of ingenuity and knowledge on their part, and that's the advantage we have having those people with that knowledge and those skills and abilities. Very impressive.
Okay. Do we have anything else? Have a motion to adjourn the city council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The council meeting is adjourned. We'll move on next to our
Congratulations.
RDA meeting. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Chief. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to our RDA board meeting this evening. For the record, all board members are present, as is Mr. Brooks and Ms. Maragoni. We have a period for public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to clear down to our action items. Okay, we have one action item tonight. This is consideration of resolution R 2021-05, authorizing the extension of collection of tax increment for 2 years in the West Bench redevelopment project area impacted by the COVID-19 emergency. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. As I explained upstairs, the state of Utah passed this window or opportunity for cities who were stuck in the middle of developing an RDA and getting them going, recognizing the impact that COVID's had on cities and different things. They gave this opportunity to allow an extension of 2 years on the end of your development or your RDA development, but it has to be done by next week or by the 31st. So we wanted to bring that forward to you. We haven't triggered that RDA yet, but we're getting really, really close to it, and having an additional 2 years on that thing could be very valuable to us, because they're kind of delayed before you get those up and running and you start seeing increment come in. So that could be a big deal to the city, especially those last 2 years when that'd be hopefully fully developed up there. So I would ask that you consider that and pass that. As I mentioned up there, by this particular statute, we have to pass it first before the council, and then we will notify all those taxing entities that we have done that. Again, we don't have to use those 2 years, but at least we have this on the books in case it came down to that and we wanted to extend that for a couple more years. It would be worthwhile for us. So that's what it is.
Do Have any questions for Mr. Brooks? Mr. Arnold?
Move to approve resolution R 2021-05 as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you poll the council on the resolution, please?
Board.
Aye.
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 Okay, the motion passes unanimous in favor. Move on next. Do we have any comments for this meeting? With that, do we have a motion to adjourn? Let me make comment. Okay, I was going to just make one. I just want to wish all of you very, very Merry Christmas and wish you the best next year. I hope it's a good year for you. I appreciate serving with all of you. Some of you we've served longer than others, but it's always been a pleasure. I know you have the best interests of the city at heart, and I've enjoyed my time that I've spent here. So wish you the very best. Enjoy the time with your families, and hope it's a good time for you. So make the best of it. Thank you. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. Thanks for being here.